What's going on, everybody? This is Super Mike 2164. I'm back. I'm back. Oh, what's up, James? Dope? The Chinaman. What's going on, guys? And this is a general talk, so we will be dropping the link. And we are streaming on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Yeah, I'm Super Agent Mike. Yep, that's me. That's what I'm here. It was funny. A Korean girl actually gave me that name, Super Mike. But so this is general talk, but I'm going to be specifying. I was just got finished talking over there on Q Butter's channel, and was talking to international conversation because Q had True Niger was over there, and other people was over there. We was talking about general topics about little BRICS nations, the Chinese in Africa, the imperialist Americans, and the Russian situation. So it was a little international conversation over there. So it was cool. It was cool. So I'm gonna get into some of that, and we can talk about the little politics. We'll go over some of the things that I try to touch on in some of the older stuff. And I mean, it's just general conversation really today. Uh, I always keep it kind of focused towards, like I said, the Black America. We can talk a little bit about, did y'all hear about Bill Gates? First, he's talking about climate change, but now he's talking about cutting down trees. And my thing is, anytime Bill Gates pushes for something, he's like the mouthpiece of Satan. Bill Gates is kind of like really, it's like they got to speed up their agenda so they can't be behind the scenes no more. So basically, these people, they had to get this guy, bring him on out. We need a representative. So basically, let me read this real quick. Yeah, I know. It's so interesting. I've seen this. I have a Facebook part. We part of a group, Facebook Reparations Now, and it's just interesting. This is a real woman. Amy. She posted that whites are the problem. Reparations Now. Now, you know, it's okay, but at the same time, it really is. Somebody actually said that, Hood Conservative, I see him over there on Twitter, actually, or whatever it's called, X or something, whatever it's called now. But let me see here. Let me share this screen. This guy. Well, the thing is, white people made this race thing up. So, the enforcement issue is on the white group because that actually, those folks, that's the enforcement, excuse me, that's the enforcement arm of the racial categories. So that's that. Black folks have been, trying to actually do all sorts of maneuvers to try to get out of the racial category, but the issue is not just really with us. And I mean, it's true because you can't do it by yourself because there's an enforcement part. Well, yeah, you say we all came from Africa. Okay, and maybe that's probably true. At the same time, people have formed categories and nations, and then there's an enforcement portion to it. So as far as enforcing a new ideology on the planet, not a racial category type, then what will end up happening is that's got to come from the group currently, described as white, because that's mainly where most of the the non-white people, we do it on autopilot, so we kind of keep it going. So like, this is a good part. I could show this here. Let me get this. Oops, wrong thing. So we put it on autopilot, but so here it is, Bill Gates. Hold on a second here. Oh, I don't know. What the hell? I mean, it's just all kind of stuff anyway. Okay, let me see. Trying to find one post that Hood Conservative did. Yeah. Let me see. Because he was talking about basically the racial thing too. I think it's kind of coming up. Yeah, he says he's tired of the old black conversation. And I'm like, well, you tired of the black conversation? I mean, black people have been actually trying to stop all this racial stuff for a long time, but when it benefits a certain group, now it's not really benefiting. Nobody wants to do the work to try to clean it up in their own group. That's the problem. You got to do that work to clean that stuff up, so that way it doesn't, you don't have to wait until, somebody else, until the times really force it out. It just needs to actually be done, and a lot of work needs to be done among white folks to try to clean up some of that racial stuff in their mentality. It'll take generations probably for them, because it's benefited white people so well. I don't know how you would convince some white people to not do racism. I really don't, because there's too many. It's just too much. I can't find his. Let me see if I can do it this way. I'm trying to find his little spot, his little post. Let me see. Let me see. Let's see right here. Hold on a second. There it is. Let me see if I can see it on his page. There's one post I was trying to find, but for somebody who's trying to pretend like he doesn't want to talk about racism no more, Hood Conservative, he really is, focused on the racial concepts, on dealing with, the black white stuff. But but I mean, nothing wrong with it, but it's almost like he's not really wanting to admit that he does that. But you can't help it in this type of a world. Like I said, the racial category has been pushed so hard. It's all over the planet. I'm not seeing the post that I'm looking for on his page, though. Let me see. Nope. Still not seeing the post that I'm looking for. But yeah. Yeah, but anyway, he basically says he's tired of the black conversation. But I don't think he's too tired of it, because he keeps posting on that stuff. So it is what it is. It is what it is. Yep. Yeah, we're gonna have race. Yeah, I straight up talk about race, but I'm not, I don't pretend like I'm not talking about it. That's the thing with Hood. He sit up there, but oh, I'm tired of the black conversation, but he's focused on it still, just like everybody else. Of course, I straight up talk about race. Racial categories have hurt black folks, but and they don't go away though just because we say something. Well, I mean, they keep enforcing it. The racial category benefits white people, and it's worked. So why should they? What benefit? What is their motivation to stop it? Yeah, what's the motivation to stop it? Because the thing is, what basically happens in its place is, I mean, everybody is still there, but it's your lineage. But the people are still around, but it's just that certain privilege off of a racial category, that right there, it will probably have to go away. But this is what it is. It's just like we all came from Africa, but guess what? You went through India. You had experiences through India. You went through the northern Asia. The Caucasus Mountains. We went through Europe. You know, had a different experience. Native Americans came over here in Bering Straits, and some of them crossed through the Pacific, Atlantic. You know, had a different experience. Some African folks, stayed around there, went intra Africa, traveled different places, you know, had a different experience. And we've been spreading around the planet for a long time, for millions of years. No, I haven't never been there personally. Never been to Africa personally. But I know someone who has been. Well, you don't just turn white because white, well, you got a genetic portion to white. It's just like black. But, white is also like the political situation. So you got a genetic aspect to white, but there's some people that are listed as white. Their skin color is not white. They're brown, or they're darker brown or something like that. But they can still live like Puerto Ricans. There's a lot of Puerto Ricans that if you look at them, you're like, oh, that's actually a black person. But on their census report, it's listed as white. So it's more than just, skin. It's more than just skin. Yeah, the BRICS nations, Brazil, Russia, India, whatever the C is in South Africa, all of them are not white. All of them don't identify as white. And I have that too. So let's look at some of that actually. Let's see something. Thought I had this BRICS nation thing up. Let me see. Let's see. Let's see if we can find the BRICS thing. So BRICS, they got a currency. That's what's making a big splash here. So they want to challenge the dollar. Common BRICS currency to challenge the US dollar. And they say a very far-fetched notion, expert says. So anyway, Radio Free Europe. So that's a European perspective. We can look at it. First of all, it's not very far-fetched. That's why they're doing a story on it. It's not very far-fetched when you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 leaders of very powerful nations sitting there holding hands and in some form of cooperation. It's not very far-fetched. Okay, so, but they have to say that so that people won't panic. You got China, India, South Africa, Russia, and I guess that's the Czech Republic or whatever that is. Let me see. What is it? Who's that? Uh, oh, that's Brazilian President Luis Inacio. Well, a lot of media is CIA funded. That's what the majority of this media is, really and truly. Like you got to get on. Unfortunately, you got to do some work yourself, and you got YouTube, independent people. Of course, there's CIA stuff on there. You got some of these other platforms, Vimeo and uh, what's that other crap that I have? Rumble, and there's some other stuff I got too, but I haven't looked at it in a while. But yeah, you're gonna have to really, if you're trying to get the truth, you gotta really, yeah, you gotta do research because research is ongoing. Now you've done it on your media, so and I believe you because just the title sounds very CIA-ish. That right there is directing you, some expert. That title, that was a dead giveaway. They will just report it. So the BRICS bloc, developing countries seen as seeking to counter the United States and the West agreed to the summit. So at the summit, Brazilian president called for the BRICS countries to create a common currency, and that will reduce the dominance of the dollar. So the BRICS members could make progress on cutting the share of the dollar in their bilateral trade. It would be tougher to get away from it as a reserve currency. Well, not really, because you're looking at Africa right there. They have a bunch of gold. And guess what? If you put a little bit of gold in each one of those dollars or whatever the BRICS little currency would be, people are going to use it because it's actually valuable. You can put a little bit of gold in there. So the actual currency would be actually worth something. And that would be a good move to replace the dollars. But yeah, that's how that would really work. Because see, the USD, the US dollar is white America, and it is because they control it. I mean, the what do you call that? The Secret Services is the ones that protect it, prints it, and all that kind of thing. Well, America has bombs, missiles, and weapons and military power, which is valuable. That's what backs the dollar. So now what you have here are some countries. This is why this is not a far fetch, because now you got a couple countries here, especially in China, India, and Russia, who are nuclear powers. So they have bombs, missiles, and military science, coupled with a few countries who have resource power, which is the South African government and the Brazilian government. So there you go. It's not far fetched. You got resources and military. That's a problem for the United States. And like I was telling them over there on Q Butters channel, the whole game here. This is the whole game. There are several rich families, and they're protected by the United States. And these people, for a long time, have been able to do what they want to do. It's called American exceptionalism. It's called, exceptionalism, meaning we get to make the rules. Y'all have to obey the rules. We don't have to obey the rules. That's the game. They want to keep that going. They don't want any other powers to be able to hold them accountable. Because if they have to follow the same rules everybody else has to follow, then that's it for them. That's it for a lot of these folks. And really, the people, even like whites who are poor whites, they just get a small benefit from being a little bit classified, they don't get much benefit. They get a little bit of meager benefit, being classified as white, No, they're definitely not safe in America. You go through the neighborhoods, they're broke, a lot of them are poor and stuff like that. But it's the mentality, it's the fact that they are white and they feel better. So you can't convince them otherwise. But once someone is able to hold the governments accountable, and now you have to be accountable for your actions, you can be physically brought to bear. You have to suffer a painful physical consequence for, operating in the world in an unjust manner. So at that point, that's when a lot of these people who seem big and powerful right now, they'll be chopped down to size. And a lot of people who are currently held on the bottom, they'll have a little bit room to move and actually get out of some of the stuff that they're in. Exactly. So that's the point. That's why you have China, Russia, and India there, because the war games have been played, and everybody knows that the Western world can't win in a military conflict directly with them. So that's and now, so of course it's not smart for Russia and China to initiate such a conflict, but they can just start getting to business. So with the resources, because the United States and the Western world have survived and gained their power through theft, through stealing, through mugging. Yeah. Go ahead and you can click that link. I'll drop another link there. Hold on a second. Yeah, there's a link right there. You can click it. Come on up. Yep, do your thing. No, but that's the issue there. Oh, hold on a second. What's up? What's up, James? You can come up. Everybody can come up. Y'all can come through. Y'all can, drop in, drop out. We're just having a basic conversation. It's whatever the subject is. What's up, James? What's up? Oh, you up here. What's up, James?
Oh man, what's up? I'm
What's
here.
up?
Look, I'm listening.
Yep. What's on your mind, man?
Yeah, I'm wondering why this conflict is being and this why is this even a conflict? Like, that's the BRICS nations that are trying to.
Hold on, you're going in and out.
Oh, I'm sorry. Is this better?
Yeah. Go ahead now. Go ahead. Say what you were saying.
I was trying to say it's just like why is it Russia and China uh, making a conflict here? Is the U.S. not having a problem with this? I mean, you do understand the concept of having a currency that means you don't have to go through the U.S. Like
Yeah.
if I want to change my Thai baht to Chinese renminbi, the Thai bank will not take my Thai baht directly and give me RMB for it. They demand of me to exchange it to US dollars, charge me those fees, and now I'm a proud owner of US dollars. I can change those to Chinese renminbi. And then I also pay another fee. So all the banks are making their money. Everybody's happy. But I'd like to take that middle person out there, I don't really. I only need US dollars when I go to the US. No other country takes US dollars. You think they do, but no. They will take US dollars and exchange it for their currency. That's why it's a world reserve currency, because every nation basically will take it and exchange it for their own currency. And this does not mean that China will stop taking the US dollar or stop changing it in the bank in the background. Eventually they might, but they're making it and ease of access for all these countries to not have to use the United States as a middleman for their banking transactions. Would you not agree that that is, I mean, we're saving, do you like banks? They make a lot of money. You support banks?
Well, that's who's fueling the wars.
The banks. The one, yeah, exactly.
Wow,
Yeah.
That's
Well, not really. I mean, the banks are not really. If the U.S. government is is funding some of these wars, and we're funding a lot of them. I mean, we're really trying to push democracy in the world as if it. Well, that's the thing, right?
That's the bank.
That's another thing.
The U.S. government is actually owned by banks.
The U.S. government is a terrorist organization.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying though they're owned by banks because the banks, the Federal Reserve Bank, is not really, they can't be audited by the government of the United States Congress
because they are a private business.
Exactly. Because they own this nation.
But that's the Federal Reserve, not the Federal Bureau of Investigations or anything to do with federal. It's kind of just taking the name and being like being like Super Mike instead of Superman or Superman Mike, and it's like, yo, you're just stealing Superman. It's just like, yeah, we get it, but it's yeah. That's the whole thing. I mean, if you want to, the Fed is the one that is creating our entire national debt. They don't mind lending us more money. We pay them more money in interest that way. We, you, me, everybody, all your taxes. That's why you're all mad at people not paying their taxes, because all of a sudden America can't pay only the interest on its loans, on itself.
Right.
So. And this is the thing, we're always just like, oh yeah, look at Russia and China and blah, and they're starting a conflict. No, I think we still have a huge fucking conflict. I don't have a conflict between races outside of the U.S., but it seems like every place I come up, there's a problem with racism, and yeah, it's all over the place. Have you never been out on the street? Have you never been like, I mean, especially black people? It's just like, yeah, there's racism all over the state. Imagine you were gay and black and in Africa. I'm sure, and it's, different experiences for different people. I've been in places where people look at me and, you have to understand, I'm like the white bread among many other races that are not, so you can pick me out like if you would go to like Tiananmen Square and put them full of Chinese and me in the middle, you'd be like, yeah, right there. Like I'm the meeting point, because I can't see anybody else, but everybody can see me from everywhere. So it's and it's just like a common meeting point, no matter what color I am. It's kind of like, oh, there he is, let's go meet there. He's got the backpack. That's the guy with the backpack and the beer and the fucking weed and the, meeting point. So, it's I understand both sides. But anyway, it's kind of like the U.S. It's just like we have two great presidents. We have 20 great presidential candidates, 20 of them, but 19 of them have to die. Only one can rule. And of those 19, then maybe in 4 years, maybe, if the other one doesn't, it's just, and you're giving complete new idea. What is it if we just say, okay, how many parties are there? We need one representative of every party. And you get locked in the White House and you make decisions until you agree on them, for the benefit of the American nation and not for the benefit of.
No. You're making sense now. You're not allowed to.
I'm not allowed. This is First Amendment protective. But that's the thing. If you cannot make all for one, half of Americans don't vote. So we have 330 million people, of which only 168 or 170 million people voted. So half of the people that said, hey, you know what? Fuck you, government. I don't want anything to do with you. I don't want to vote. I don't care about anything that happens. Because everything that happens. Why do you think that's true? Because I think a lot of Americans just can't be bothered. It's, and I mean, plus I don't vote, so I don't take the time to do it. I don't take the time to go to my government. My government wouldn't give a shit about me either.
If you thought that it would actually, because we obviously care about what happens in the government, but if you thought that your vote actually, would matter.
I don't think that anymore. I know it doesn't matter.
Yeah, but that's my point.
I know. I know. So I mean, and the thing is, I voted once, mail-in ballot. It was for Obama. I voted for Obama, and guess what? The frickin' ballot came back, and it said could not be delivered to address C, which is the most powerful government in the United States. And mind you, this was me sending it from our allied country, Germany. The whitest allies of us all. And it came back, and then Gaddafi turned around, and Obama turned around and fucking killed Gaddafi.
Yeah.
So, and then it's kind of like, yeah, and he's half Kenyan, half American. So yeah, you see how that turns around. It's kind of like, yeah, and you see China now. I mean, China's not going into Africa killing anybody. And you should, if you want to talk about BRICS, shut up. Excuse me.
It's all good.
But yeah, they're gonna go outside though. So, and then you have now BRICS, and BRICS is including the African Union. So ECOWAS is the military thing there, but ECOWAS is half sponsored by the US and half non-sponsored by the US. So you've got that ECOWAS thing going on there and that coup, while the African Union is now coming out with their African Union, which is all 56, 57, I don't know, I have to go check it, African nations together, states, nations, together to have this African Union like the European Union, just with African people. And they want France, Germany, England, and America out of their politics. Just kind of like China wants America out of their politics, and Russia wants America out of their politics, because in fact, I mean, it's very easy for the U.S. to start wars with anybody and then point the finger and say, "Oh, look here." And we did. I mean, if we look at history, it's what we did, right? It's just like, man, those Mexicans, those black people, they're all taken away. Those Asian people are all taken away our jobs, our white people jobs. And back then, Asians, blacks, South America, Latinos, or wherever, let's say they come from, were not white, because apparently they were taking away white people's jobs. So now, it's just like everybody's claiming to be part of the brotherhood or the it's kind of like, oh no, you're okay, you're allowed to say, you're allowed to call me the N-word because you're South America. You've been there, but you over there, you can't say. But anyway, selective language thing now. So anyway, but the African Union is its own thing, and you have to, at some point, you yourself have to question yourself: are you going to support the U.S. government as a Black American? And what it does.
Union, though, isn't it mostly controlled by a lot of people that's former colonies? Because I think
no, that's what I just said. The African Union is trying to get rid of let's consider it like the America's the world reserve currency in those African countries that are colonized by France. their main language is French. Their main currency is probably French, or maybe it's probably not euro, but you get what I mean. It probably was the franc back then, and they just want to have this kind of colonial occupation gone and be like, okay, thank you. We are now civilized, like that, because that's the thing. Africa is not civilized in our white, black American minds. So
But
it's
let me ask
very
you
hard
this,
for us to.
why do you think that that people have to present this group of people as uncivilized?
Well, you as an American, you can either say something against it or you can say something for it, and that's the thing right now. It's kind of like America has educated the world on a lot of things through Hollywood, a lot of things through misinterpretations, always focusing on the bad things of the other person. And it's just like, dude, we've been trying to save children in Africa. We have food and water for Africa. Did you know that Gaddafi, besides murdering half his population, also built the greatest man-made river? Yeah. Did we rebuild that? Has NATO come in and provided Libya with any rebuilding? Remember when America bombed the shit out of Berlin or Dresden? They flattened everything. It was the church that stood. And it didn't matter if you were a Nazi or a white and a non-affiliate and you were just drug in it. Fuck you, we're going to bomb it. The whole thing. Have you ever had that happen in America where they're just like, fuck, you're treating your black people so bad, we're gonna bomb your entire fucking city, except for the churches? Have you ever had that in the US?
Well, no one's able to do that.
No, yeah, exactly. Because
that's my point. Yeah.
You would do it for, they did. But it was kind of an upscale New York kind of thing, If they had, if you'd taken the two skyscrapers and had them fall over, then we could have maybe, but if that had been, that was a pretty good, really controlled. And did you see that? How they just collapse into each other as if somebody had planned it, man. Afghanistan, it didn't fall even across the fucking street. That's how good we are. That's how good we are.
Hit.
Yeah, and I mean, we knew that we had to fucking flatten Afghanistan for that, and Iraq, and then go after Iran because none of these nations actually had anything to do with it.
Well,
yeah.
Well, the blowback is coming. So, like I said before, that blowback from those lies, all of that deceit, it's going.
Yeah, but this is the coming back of that. Yeah. This is where, you have your black identity. I understand that, but it's kind of like you also will have to take a closer look at what the current majority white government, the non-elected government that is, because the elected government is just the show for the people. It's just the thing that makes it, it's just like, oh, which puppet do you want to vote for? I honestly, if I had to vote this time, Cornell is my first vote. I mean, the way he just said, we're gonna de-dollarize it. The whole system has to be fucking burned to ashes. Great. I love it. He's like, man. But yeah, I mean, burning like Maui, where nobody gets hurt, no kids go missing, everybody's fine. So yeah, Cornell got my vote. I mean, I might be stepping out here a little far, but he'll get my vote. If they don't.
Well, so, the thing is,
and that's not because he's black.
He doesn't have the power to enforce what he's trying to do, but
no, you can just call him a communist and he'll lose.
Well, no, even if he wins, it's just like if he gets the people, they'll still they have so many bombs and missiles and guns. It's just like they're not going to allow him to do
Oh,
what
yeah.
he's.
Well, that's
But
that's that's the
I,
thing. You're
but I would
you're
put.
voting
I'm
for
still going to give him
the
a vote.
puppet that could get shot and killed by your own government. That's the whole thing. You know, you are voting for the puppet, and if you vote for the wrong puppet, the government will just take him out. You know why Biden's not gone? Because Kamala is worse. Imagine Kamala coming out and being like, "We're gonna run. I'm gonna run the now." Oh fuck, man. Ooh.
Yeah, nobody
She's
likes
gonna be.
Kamala.
I mean, no, nobody likes her. I mean, nobody understands that woman. It's like you. How do these people get intelligence tests, like, or anything? Cognitive
No,
resonance? No, nothing, nothing. Like,
I think they're just
they'll
running.
be like,
I think they're just running the government of the U.S. into the ground because they're trying to make a play to to try to transition. They want to de-dollarize the world. I mean, we got old videos from way back in the '90s where they were talking about the American.
yeah,
Remember
but that's
the
all.
euro?
Why is the world dollarized in the first place? That's what you got to ask yourself. The American dollar, Australian dollar, the English dollar, no, but all these dollars. The U.S. dollar is the world reserve currency, and it's being forced to stay in that position. It's not being forced, but it's being enforced to stay in that position by all costs and means. And it's kind of like having a two currency system instead of a one currency system that benefits only one country or two countries.
Mm.
I mean, that's what Bitcoin is. That's what all these cryptocurrencies are. That's what your house is if you own a house, since you've taken it from US dollars and put it into property, which can also be taken from you in civil forfeiture, even under a misunderstanding. Even if you're in the US and you're a free citizen and you have not committed a crime, they can take it away like the Chinese government. So it's, just don't open your mouth too wide and vote for the wrong person.
Well, the
Or,
vote is really just to confuse the people, to keep the people underneath that
oh, yeah.
mentality that something's
Yeah,
possible
yeah,
that's not possible.
yeah.
And that's why they want to stop woke, because the more people start to realize that, you actually lost the country control way back in 1915 or 1914 with the Federal Reserve Act. That was it.
It sold out. I don't know that.
Yeah, you
I'm
sold
not
the
good.
government to a bank.
I'm not good on dates, and I'm not good on
Yeah,
things,
me
but
neither.
so I can't. But I mean, it was, what was it, when the U.S. dollar was backed by gold, and then they took it off that. And now the U.S. dollar is backed by nothing. Or back then it was backed by war bonds or government bonds, which you can still cash in if you find those things. And it's just like it's kind of like where they guarantee your money's going to stay, or they guarantee you a return. Like, I mean, that's why everybody's investing into, or all the banks have 0% fractional reserve banking now, so they can invest all the money that you put into the bank into profitable businesses like the industrial military complex, which is basically our military going out. And you have to understand, if our military costs that much money, they're not out there buying things at fair prices. Yeah. So
what do you think about
if
the Wagner Group?
I can't really say anything to him, I'd have to go and update myself a little bit on it and research it. And I look, I can't tell you. It's kind of like BlackRock or all these hedge funds, where it's kind of like, hey, we know I am the CEO of Boeing, so how about you stick all of my money into Boeing, or is it Boeing? Yeah, Airbus.
The Wagner Group is basically a mercenary force or army that I guess they were trying to threaten Russia. Putin killed one of their leaders, but the Wagner, group.
Okay. So yeah, but so they're like ISIS. This is kind of like when America funded the Taliban, and then they decided there's like, you know what, fuck you, we're gonna fly 2 planes into your financial system, and then you can see this is where your money gone. It's because what was it? Osama bin Laden too. It's all that. It was a conspiracy until it was true thing. So where it's just like, oh wait, he wasn't just some crazy ass guy. Osama came from a very rich family. Oh, he was paid by the CIA. Oh, he was makes sense now.
Yeah, it's like
So
it looks to me like
and
Russia's
that,
answer to like BlackRock, because so Cheney, has a basically an international construction company. I forgot what it's called, but uh, Dick Cheney and all of these guys, they have these construction companies and they have these mercenary companies, like you said, BlackRock. But Russia had this Wagner group too, and this was Yasevsky, whatever his name was, a Russian guy. But it looks like they're saying that Putin killed him, which we don't know if it's a game or not.
yeah, of course, it's did unnamed officials from the Pentagon, or the U.S. Yeah, it's always some unnamed anonymous official from the U.S. government, that the U.S. intelligence, that knows it all, but then months later we can prove factually, after everything has been analyzed, that information was incorrect. And I'm wondering just how intelligent all these offices are that we're paying in the government to protect us or to inform us correctly of, oh wait, America bombed Nord Stream. Oh wait, no wait, somebody else bombed Nord Stream. But kind of like with the C-19 thingy,
Which they're bringing back.
America funded it, but America is going to blame the country that executed it. So it's kind of like if how the CIA brought crack into the communities, black communities.
Definitely.
Okay, so we can't blame the CIA because they were only funding it. We have to blame every single crack dealer out there.
Right. And see, that's interesting that you said that, because I was actually ready. All
those white CIA members, they were just, they were going to see who actually has that criminal mindset. And then they said like, yo, you poor? You want bling bling? You want that Mercedes? You want to show, you want that grill? You want that record company? Here's your, over there, something fell off a truck.
What they did. Now, let me say something about this, because it was interesting that you pointed that out, because I literally was actually ready to talk about that very subject and say the same thing you just said. That they sit up here with the propaganda, and they will always do this. They will blame the people for falling for a trick that they set. And like this guy here, Ronald Siegel. This is the guy who did the first research and invented crack. He was sitting up there inventing this at David Geffen's School of Medicine in UCLA back in 1972. This is one of the cartoons from that point of time. They had the monkeys smoking this stuff. This was 1982, a cocaine smoking depiction from one of the rhesus monkeys that was being taught to smoke the freebase. But this was before the whole crack epidemic even happened.
Yeah, freebase. Yeah. That's what freaking crack. I mean, crack is like Ready Rock. Crack is like the potato taste when you fucking smoke that shit. But like I remember people coming over and being like, "Oh man, I'm too bored of this like different style people," and they'd be like, "You got any baking soda?" And they'd come and they cook that shit up themselves. I mean, so it went beyond just black culture. I mean, I got out of that really quickly, and luckily never went back to it. So,
Right.
but yeah,
I mean, that's the
this
thing
was
though.
the
Like
beginning
I
of the
said,
'90s. So we're good 25 years ago. So I haven't touched that shit since then. I can't say I will. You know, it's kind of like when people have that cigar, and
uh-huh.
you're just like, yeah, I know it's illegal. I know it's bad for my health,
I'm
but I'm
just
smoking it.
right.
You know,
Yeah, so
so
that's the whole
like
point.
like Obama with his Cuban cigar, which is kind of like, wait, you're fucking Cuba in the app. You know, you're fucking them with all your, you know, just like Gaddafi, and but then you're smoking Cuban cigars as if you're allowed to. You know, this, it's the piss take of it all. You know.
Right. Yeah, I mean that's what they do. This is the reason why this whole society is all messed up. So when you're talking to people like people that sitting up here trying to preserve and save this stuff because they don't want to tell the truth, they're thinking that, oh, I gotta save. Oh, well, if y'all hate America, then run away or something like that. It's not even about what you hate.
Yeah.
It's just you gotta this is what's happening. And if all of this stuff that's happened is going to have a result. And if there's a lot of people who want to shut their eyes, like, oh, we don't have to pay for this. Well, you didn't do anything personally, but the people in your government is going to suffer. Meaning you're going to have a weak government because this stuff has to take control. Because what's happening is everybody else in the world is seeing how crazy America was as a leader of the free world. And so they said, well, we need to consolidate strength so that we can hold these people accountable. And that's what you got here. And I guarantee you, in probably a good decade or something, you're going to start just like they got these African leaders in The Hague and all that kind of stuff. And, prosecuting, just like right now, they got Trump in jail.
No, man, you gotta do it.
That right there.
You gotta check out the that's the biggest fuck up too. There's this thing called the Hague Act, and it allows the U.S. government to take anybody that's in the Hague for trial hostage and return them to the United States.
Mm.
Like,
So,
like
but the thing is,
if
what's
we
going
would
to end up happening,
catch, huh?
what's going to
What?
end up happening is that stuff is going to change. All of that stuff like that, like the lies of
course,
them being able to,
yeah.
And
This is
people
but
gonna
this is
start
what
holding
African
down.
Union is. This is what African Union is. This is what BRICS is, because
Right.
The Hague is in Europe, and what is it? Belgium controls Brussels controls the EU. So Belgium is a tiny shit.
They're gonna start taking them to a Russian prison. It's gonna be a
like
Russian
Edward
prison.
Snowden.
Yeah. So
I think look, and I think I don't know. I mean, no. Yeah, I mean, you have to all see. There's gotta be a little bit more leniency here, and I mean, I don't agree with everything, but it has its own personal reasons, and that's because I occasionally really like my Cuban cigar, but that has also not been, happily accepted in the U.S. either. I remember times that was also part of prosecution. It's like crack. It's just like, oh, you're addicted to crack. Oh, you poor thing. Oh, look, I found a radio. I found a fucking baggie. You're going to jail for 25 years now, where you're going to have even more access to crack, cocaine, heroin, ass fucking, all those human rights violations we say don't happen in the U.S. And it's just like, that's one of the reasons why I had to leave, because I had white people threatening me with rape and jail for like shit like that, and I'm just like, yo,
with prison, they're basically threatening you with rape.
No, they turn around. They're just like, and not only rape, they were just like, well, make sure that in the prison, it's just like, whoa, I see a little flaw here in the system. Fuck that shit. I mean,
So hold
you
on
think
a
I'm
second.
gonna
Let's listen to this real quick.
fight that in a town of
Hold
2,000
up, James.
white hicks?
Sorry. Hey, James, hold on a second. I want to hear this
All
here
good.
from Wild Hair.
About voting. So what is your message to those people, and what would you tell them to get them to the polls?
In 2020, in the height of a pandemic, when there was so much loss of life, loss of normalcy, people lost their jobs, people lost hope, but they saw and felt something to know that they matter and that their voice matters through their vote. We now have capped the cost of insulin at $35 a month for seniors. We are now in the process of removing every lead pipe in America. We are now in the process of getting every person in America access to high-speed internet. We have created 13 million more jobs, and we, by my estimate, are dropping about $1 trillion to deal with the climate crisis around adaptation, resilience, and what we need to do around building a clean energy economy. The work we have done, the billions of dollars we are investing in our HBCUs, which are, I think most know, centers of academic excellence, but have for too long been underfunded. Our administration is doing that. So because people voted in 2020, these things are happening. The vote matters.
What do you think? What do you think about that?
Oh, sorry, I was just muted. It's. What is she saying? No, and no disrespect to any women listening right now, but sometimes I don't understand my wife, and my wife don't understand me, and that's fine. But I do not understand this woman. I try to not. I don't listen to Biden. Why would I would listen to her? And I really don't feel bad for not going and voting for Trump. It's just like, I mean, the decision is the same, right? If I don't vote and I vote, I could have gone there and voted for the wrong person too. You never know. I could have been like, Kamala, she's great. Wow, I heard her talk once. Like, and I think that's what Kamala is what the majority of women in America are. Not black, not white, but just very simple. You talk about and she's talking to a woman there, not a man. You see how it is. So that's Kamala is the woman, is getting the women voters in, and that's the thing. It's kind of like, it doesn't matter how dumb your politics are, you will have some followers.
Right.
Yeah. So she
can do something for them, I guess.
The only one that I can give credit that's right now in the White House is Biden's wife.
Really?
like the only person that I really think is having the hardest time of her life is that woman. I respect her more than I respect anybody else in and around the White House.
Why do you think she's having the hardest time? Because I think she's probably having a pretty good time there.
I don't know.
He's somebody else wipes his butt when he.
I might be wrong. I might come back tomorrow and be like, ah, shit, she's CIA sponsored. I didn't do my research.
But he's the government.
But like, at least she knows how to shut up and stand in the background and not make a fool of herself.
Right.
And maybe she has. I don't know. I really haven't. I don't even know her name. I apologize. Jill. Okay. Joe and Jill went up the hill.
Black Jill. Jill.
Yeah. Joe fell down and Jill rolled.
A little white powder was found in the White House. So
Yeah, but that, you know what? The difference is there. For cocaine, you only get 2 years, but for crack, you get 20.
Right.
Yep.
And yeah, and just for people to understand, like with
Plus, you might
crack,
identify differently. We don't know.
so just
Sorry.
because I did want to talk about this, so I'm gonna say this. See, when people understand, like like you said, they try to blame the dope sellers and all these guys on low level. This is going to happen when you're dealing with millions of people. When you set a government agency sets up a criminal enterprise, and then at the same time they set up a law to criminally, anybody who falls for the trap to really, just stick it to
By
them
the
criminally.
by the way, guys, don't smoke marijuana.
Right.
It causes you to race mix with other races, others than yours, so you might have a mixed race baby and then not be accepted by your race anymore.
And then you'll be in trouble.
Damn those weed smokers.
Yeah.
Yep.
They use those drugs though because even if you don't smoke the drug in your area, it gives them the excuse to put in some military control in your area. They can stop and frisk. They can. I mean, all these people that don't even smoke the drugs, don't sell the drugs, but now you can control those groups of people.
How do we know that they don't know that?
Yeah, that's
I mean,
how
if they're not on our CIA protected list of sellers, or governmental, because there is, we have to also accept that there is the legal drug industry, which is the one that's among the military industrial complex, that is among the people that we assume are paying to have our politics be taken care of. But yes, that's the thing. We need to extract the good stuff from the plant, put it in a pill, and make the plant illegal. And then
So if America had 700 military bases instead of 800 military bases over
in
the world,
itself, in itself, it would be a lot safer.
It would. So you're saying if it has 700 military bases, if you cut back from 800 military bases to like 650, would that make the country safer?
No. We have to pull back our entire military. All right. We have to learn.
What are those people who are trained murderers and killers? Where are they going to go?
They're already here. The police, they're already here. I mean, you mean the ones that we're only going to get back highly skilled people or mental cases. And mental cases is okay. Look, half my friends are mental cases.
But doesn't
psychos,
that
freaks.
But
anyway,
James,
yep.
if you're closing down hundreds of military bases, doesn't that sound like you're betraying your government?
You're betraying. No, you're leaving a different country. Those military bases are not in America. They're outside. So if we would take all those resources and bring them back to America, we could and you know how many people in the military are of color? Right. I don't, the percentage, I don't know. I can't tell you if there's 1 million white people versus 400 of color. I'll just say of color, just to not differentiate too much further. But and if you get all those here, and they're like, there's going to be I think there's going to be a lot less issues of that domestic terrorism that's happening here. I mean, maybe a lot less bad cops would be around, a lot more good.
Maybe
military.
Yeah.
No,
Well,
but you're saying they're all trained killers, but they're not all trained killers. I mean, I know guys that have been
well, not
sitting,
all of
and
them, of course.
this and see, this is also my prejudice against not knowing too much about America. My dad's a veteran. My dad's a Vietnam veteran. Um, BMT. I know a few others, and I've talked to them, and they're just like, "Yo, I've never been on the field. All I was doing was in a ship in the kitchen peeling potatoes, opening up bags with 300 eggs in them and cooking them up, and that's all they did. They never shot anything. They were, and that's kind of like they aren't the GI Joes. They don't even have a color and a helmet and a walkie-talkie. Those are not the guys standing out there waving in our fighters. You know, they're downstairs in the kitchen cleaning out compacting the poop.
Right. So if they
You know,
don't have
so
a kitchen, if they don't have a kitchen in a military base overseas to clean up, what are they gonna do?
oh, most of our military is either on. Well, I mean, there's a lot of them are on ships. So and they need ports, but yeah, that's the thing. We have this huge military, and we've been offering this military as like a private military for other countries for protection. The thing is, when countries like BRICS start being like, "Yo, we don't have to fight each other. We would far rather start doing business with you than having to do business with you through the US or through a proxy of the US." And the same thing with the US. Everybody still wants to do business with the US, but you are sanctioning them, which is basically just capitalism, because now I can get you everything out of China, Mike, if you need it. I'm American. I don't live in China. My wife's
Right.
Chinese. She can buy it. She can buy it with my money. She can send it to here and I can send it to you. Unfortunately, I must inform you that doing this has legal consequences, because also that you will be punished by the US government. See, and this is me and you, two American citizens doing business.
Right.
And we get punished by the government while our military is over here. Kamala not, but it's just like Pelosi's going over to Taiwan doing business.
Yeah.
She's over in she's not in China trying to be like, yo, all right, we figured it out. We're gonna step down in our hostility. I mean, nuclear bombing people, like, or bombing you. It's just like, yeah, that's so no. We don't want to be like Gaddafi. We don't want to be like Obama. We don't want to just be like, oh, you're not listening to us. And no, your government is making it extremely expensive for other countries to import to you, because they don't want you to see how cheap you could actually get it in other countries.
Right.
Like me sending stuff to China, from China, me to my friend, and it gets stopped at the border, and they're just like, this is coming from China. You're going to have to pay. The value of the thing is $3. I spent $20 to send it, and they're requesting my friend, who's been living on unemployment and disability for years, to pay $35 import fee
thing.
for a $3 thing. This could have been my own patented freaking product. My own intellectual property, and they would have taken it and said, screw you, we don't believe you, we're going to tax the shit out of this, and you can't do nothing about it. And I would have the same thing with America. And I'm like, whose side are you on here? And then it arrives at yours.
The banks.
And it arrives at yours, and you're just like, yo, man.
But think about who gets that money. That $20. Who's
it goes to the government. It goes to the government. It's just another tax. It buys another gunshot. It buys another $20 to send to some Nazis.
See.
Yeah. I mean, if let's say, let's it's just like, let's put them into perspective. perspective of not black and white, but racist and non-racist, the whole government, the whole tax system. How much do you think of your taxes goes to racist people or racists, the racist part of society, and how much do you think goes to the non-racist? And then you're just like, yeah, and that doesn't matter what color you are. So
Right.
I don't pay taxes. Again, the trick is not to earn more than $120,000 a year and not be in America, which means all your costs go down. You don't have $60,000 of health insurance costs a year. So it's everything gets cheaper. It's literally you don't have to have an American insurance. It's all those, you don't have to have an American car or car insurance. But anyway, I understand that it's not for everybody, and I understand it's a big step, and I understand because the majority of the world doesn't migrate. It's only this, and also this migration thing it's kind of like you migrated from your country in a war-torn area that was CIA funded 30 years ago. The CIA has given up on your country. It's ruined now. You're welcome to go back.
So you think
that's
you think Snowden can come back here?
No, that's a different thing. That's an entire different thing. That's like, you have to worry with state things and state troopers and local police.
Hold on a second. Hold on.
I have decided to run for truth and justice, which takes the form of running for president of the United States. I enter in the quest for truth. I enter the quest for justice. And the presidency is just one vehicle to pursue that truth and justice, what I've been trying to do all of my life. I come from a tradition where I care about you. I care about the quality of your life. I care about whether you have access to a job with a living wage, decent housing, women having control over their bodies, health care for all, the destruction of the planet, the destruction of American democracy. Democracy creates disruption. It creates an eruption. It creates an interruption. Why? From below, the energies of everyday people is manifest. And I know there are precious people in your life who you care for. That's why it's important for you to be involved, important for you to participate. We're not talking about hating anybody. We're talking about loving. We're talking about affirming. We're talking about empowering those who have been pushed to the margins, because neither political party wants to tell the truth about Wall Street, about Ukraine, about the Pentagon, about big tech. Neo-fascists like Brother Trump or milquetoast neoliberals like Brother Biden. Wow, well, I'm so happy to make a world-shaking decision. You know what I mean? Well, I know gangsters when I see them. And gangster's not a subjective expression, it's an objective condition. Do we have what it takes? We shall see. But some of us are going to go down fighting, go down swinging with Scott.
Well, I'll say it this way. This thing is so corrupt, you can't change it. But, I figure, he's talking the right thing. Let the man talk. Let him go down the road. I'd vote for him. But he can't change it because it's too much force taking it down the path that it's on.
Yeah, you can too easily blame it. He's got the right path, but unfortunately, like I've said, you've said this, the whole propaganda is you can easily, the next thing is he looks like Marx. He's a Marxist. He's a communist. He's a socialist. And he's against the all-American values because that's basically what he's saying. But that's not bad, because our American identity and what we have become, we've evolved into something better, while our government has evolved into something worse. And our government, our representation, what we do in the world is not every person is out to get us, you know?
Right.
And that's the thing. It's kind of like, what America's falling a little bit apart, a little bit socially. The social structure is falling apart, which has nothing to do with socialism, but it does, because social and society, and that's what the thing is. It's like your society. We're not talking about the government here. We're talking about the society, not the police force here. We're talking about society, your kindergarten, how the education system works, how you put and upkeep things in your community with the taxes that are available there. Oh, sorry, no taxes available. Oh yeah, fund the war, you know? In war times you buy bonds, but we're not in war times, you know? So it's the government
Well,
is
you
in
got a
war while the
situation.
people are not.
Well, you got a situation
And
where even your veterans, the people who are, they already served in the military, but they're homeless
yeah,
and they require donations from the average citizen. So we pay their salaries, and still you got to get involved and donate to keep people who are.
yeah, but even homelessness is something that is misunderstood. Some of these people don't have a home because they just don't need a home. I mean, the last year of being in Thailand here, you look at these places, and they're allowed to buy themselves a piece of property here, and then they can put on there whatever house they want. And some of these houses will cost you less than $200. Nobody comes by and checks it. There's no fire safety requirement. You don't have to get a government permit. You don't have to get insurance. You don't have to get nothing. The only thing you got to make sure is that you don't get wet. You know? Yeah, and if monsoon rain comes in and it's leaking in, some of these places don't have but you have it. This is like, and the thing is, this is what you don't have in America. You don't have people going around, and because you can't afford it. First, you need the surveyor to come out. Then you have to talk to the state. Then you have to talk to this. That's all fine and good, but that already makes you broke. And then you have to earn some money, and then you have to have it divided, and then this and this, and then that. And at any point in time, the government can come and say, "Oh, we made a mistake. We have to reevaluate this. It's going to cost you $2,000, and you can't pay. You're off. Poof." And this is kind of like what people in their sovereign countries have. They're just like, "Oh, you want to buy? I only have this much money." Or they worked cleaning the pooper for a year because or 2 years or 5 years, and they go out and they just buy themselves a little plot in the jungle, in their jungle.
They got to pay taxes on it.
No, I don't know, but I mean that's the thing. It's their plot. The taxes thing is also a thing because my mom used to have property, and she had dementia and she forgot, and you know how things is, but the government never forgets, and they don't care about healthcare. Like, they don't care about our veterans. They don't care if people have paid $10,000 taxes or $500,000 of taxes. They will come in and take everything of you.
Yeah. What did you think? Have you listened to Kennedy? Robert Kennedy.
RF Kennedy or CIA killed JF Kennedy?
No, Robert
both.
Kennedy Jr. The one who's president too.
Yeah, but then I saw Cornell, and it was just like, Robert Kennedy is a waste of my time. Yeah, and he's running as a Democrat. I really, and it's just, this is the thing. It's just like, I don't agree. See, I have a dispute with the Green Party, because the Green Party in other places, for me, is kind of like also the CIA funded thing. And then now Cornell comes out. It's just like, no, that's the wrong color. No, not green, not green. Any other color, black. You know, I don't know, but it's when you said we're the color green. I'm just like, no, any other color, not green. Please, not green, and especially not like a neon green or something. It just didn't fit. I don't know.
Yeah.
It wasn't race
Anyway,
based. It
well,
was
we're
just
about to
like,
get off anyway. We're about to get off, and I'm about to get out of here, go do something. But I just wanted to end
Yeah.
off on this. Let me read this real quick and see what you think about it. So Bill Gates says, please grab some pine. So they basically saying he wants to trees, living healthy trees, to be chopped down and buried underground in order to lock up carbon dioxide they release into the environment. We learned in school, apparently, very different schools from today's, that living trees actually scrub carbon dioxide from the atmosphere and give us oxygen. So this man, so he spent $8 million in counting on this effort. He want to bury these trees and whatever. So I think generations work. Basically, I think he said he wanted like 70 million acres of trees cut down for global warming.
so to warm it up or to cool it down.
Well, I think they want to make it colder or something.
No, you have to understand. We are on apparently on 22,000, 16,000 mile in diameter magma ball that's cooling down.
It's 7,926 miles in diameter, the planet.
Well, Canada's doing some right now. Canada, Hawaii, all these places. I mean, we don't have to cut them down and burn them. They can just leave them standing and burn them. They burn quite well when they're standing too, if the laser is strong enough.
You said the laser, huh? Now you're starting to talk about Hawaii.
No. Oh no, the laser theory is not Hawaii. You should check the other fires where they're just like, oh, look at this titanium or this aluminum wheel casing melted. That's not the first fire you've had. This isn't the first laser theory. Come on.
No, nope.
Get with the conspiracy program.
Hey, I'm gonna tell people like, hey, I don't understand how people can exist without believing.
Was that a Nas album on the top there that you just passed?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know Nas was still a thing. Yeah, down. Just passed
definitely a thing. Oh, where did he go?
Down. Yeah, you passed it again. I'll tell you when to stop. Few more. There it is. Yeah.
Yeah, it is talking about Nas, Dr. Dre, Notorious Big, and Tupac.
Yeah, because I mean, I listen to this stuff too, but you know, it's kind of like America is just like, oh no, we can't listen to him. He's a rapist. Oh no, he's a pedophile. Can't listen to him. And it's just like, I you know, like, oh, he wasn't cool anyway. And I'm just like, okay, guys.
People say all sorts of silly stuff.
I'm not. You listen to Nas? Well, some of it. Not every fucking skit.
What the fuck? Oh my god, this little small person won. Anyway.
Wait. That black girl's catching up though. Oh, she lost it. I mean, maybe she won it, but I mean, she face planted that.
But you can tell that
she was moving.
the Dutch coming.
No, yeah, the Dutch girl had it. I think that's the chest too. It's the chest too. She's Swiss. Yeah, Dutch.
Damn,
Dutch girl.
Look at her, she's working.
Yeah. But she's mean. Look, she's mean. Look at her face. She's like, fucking Chucky the.
Oh my God. Why did they let this woman take the last place? And she sat up here and lost.
Yeah.
Anyway. Oh my goodness. Anyway.
I didn't see it. I didn't see that. I thought you were right. It was like, and the white
you didn't
girls
see that?
won it. I didn't see it. I thought the white girl's gonna win. And I'm just like, no. And I don't. I'm not on. I'm not on Twitter. I don't. I don't watch every video out there. But yeah. She's Dutch girl. Yeah, Holland has a lot of.
He's twice the size of the little Swiss.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I like small girls, but like in this, no. Okay.
That girl, she is not about to let that little woman beat her. Look at her. She runs.
No.
She got hers.
Yeah. She's full of power. She's like, nah.
It's over. Wow.
Yeah, she's pretty too. Nice.
Yeah. I mean,
that's a small one.
Pretty. They're both pretty, actually, but that's just funny to me. I'm getting out of here. Thanks for coming up,
Mike.
James.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah,
I'm
man.
out.
You made a lot of points. International talk. Everybody, peace out. And like I said, everybody share the video. Share what you thought about it. If you see this later, y'all want to do another one, we'll come up a little later and do some more. Peace out, James. Thanks for coming up. And he had some real good points. International talk, he went, from Germany, China, and we talked about BRICS. So that was pretty good. So all right, y'all, peace out.